Hey, good morning. Let's go over today's trade plan. So if we look back at the last 3 days, we can see that the market had been balancing within the range here, with the low being 24.28 and the high being 39 to 40. In the overnight session, the buy side has been dominant, and we've seen a breakout attempt above that 39 to 40 area. So heading into the open, we know that the buy side has been dominant in the overnight session, and now the question is whether this breakout attempt can actually succeed, or whether we're going to see responsive sellers step in and push the market back down into the previous 3-day range. Now, in order for this breakout attempt to be successful and actually become a sustained breakout above this 38.75 to 40 quarter area, we're going to want to see broad market strength, sustained upside momentum, and ideally participation from the other markets. If we're not seeing those bullish signals in real time, then it's going to put the breakout into question, and it might result in a pullback towards 35 to 37.5, which is the initial support zone on the day. That marks the high volume node of this recent balance area, and it also marks the launching point of this directional conviction that we've seen in the overnight session. And so far in the Globex session and heading into the open, we are seeing a bit of weakness come into the Russell, which is a bit of a warning sign. So if you are watching the other markets and you're keeping an eye on the Russell, we have some support in that market at 1409 to 1411. If that area gets taken out in TF, then that could bring some weakness in the S&P as well. So today we are going to give more edge to the buy side, as long as ES can hold above 35 to 37.5, and especially if the buyers are holding ES above 38.75 to 40 quarter, which marks the breakout area. On the upside, we have pre-market resistance at 42.75 to 45 quarter. As long as there is sufficient broad market strength and sustained upside momentum, then that area can get taken out. Beyond that, we have the open gap at 47.5, and then the all-time high at 49.5 to 51.5. So in the event of a successful breakout, there is potential for ES to slowly make its way higher into that 47.5 gap and potentially 49.5 to 51.5. And since that marks the all-time high, that is still an area where responsive sellers can be active on first test, and the opportunity potential beyond 51.5 would be very limited on the day time frame. So right now, heading into the open, again, that main question is whether this breakout attempt is going to be successful or whether it's going to turn into a failed breakout attempt. And for that reason, our short-term bias is still neutral. We're going to have to continue to be nimble and flexible with our intraday bias, because we do have to see the bullishness continue in real time off the open if this breakout attempt is going to succeed. And in the event of a failed breakout attempt, or if ES fails to hold 35 to 37.5, then we could quite easily go right back down to 28 to 30. Technically, that's still a spot where buyers can be active on first test, but then if the 28 to 30 area doesn't hold, that would be a situation where you would have trapped buyers in the market, which could then lead to further liquidation. So right now, these are really the key areas that we're working with. If the market is indeed very strong, then we'll actually see it holding above 38.75 to 40 quarter. If the market fails to hold 38.75 to 40 quarter, then we have to question this breakout. Below that, we have support at 35 to 37.5. That's really going to be the key area if this breakout is going to have any chance at actually working out. And if the market fails at 35 to 37.5, then it would become a confirmed failed breakout, which can then take ES down to 28 to 30 and possibly even lower. But that is something that we'll have to assess in real time. So how the market responds to the 35 to 37.5 zone and this breakout area at 38.75 to 40 quarter is going to help us establish our real-time bias. But just keep in mind that because this is a balanced breakout attempt, we need to see broad market strength, a bullish advanced decline line that is ideally trending higher, but more importantly, we need that upside momentum via the NYC tick. So we want to see the NYC tick holding above zero and printing some decent values, which would confirm that there are indeed aggressive buyers active here, and then that could lead to a successful breakout. So that's the context heading into the open. Let's see if the buy side can maintain the control that we've seen here in the overnight session, and we'll take it from there.